Dreamforce, it's our biggest event of the year. And this year, instead of you coming to Dreamforce, Dreamforce is coming to you with a celebratory keynote, a week-long learning event, and personalized meetings. This year's Dreamforce will be a chance to come together, share stories from this challenging year, and celebrate our trailblazers who are succeeding in our new work from anywhere world together. And that is just what we'll be doing in our special Leading Through Change Dreamforce series. Over the next month, we'll be supercharging our Leading Through Change shows as we build up to Mark Benioff's keynote on December 2nd. So mark your calendars and DreamTX later next month. Good morning. I'm Leah McGowan here, and welcome to another one of our live weekly conversations as part of our Leading Through Change series. It's a chance for you to hear from leaders all over the world who are doing their best to get through these challenging times and support their communities through it. Now, before I turn it over to my colleague, Brett Taylor, I want to preview the next hour. Brett will be interviewing Cisco's Chief Customer Experience Officer, Maria Martinez, to discuss how they have been able to digitally transform across the entire life cycle with Customer 360, the world's #1 CRM. We'll then dive into a special demo by Kaylee Dent, highlighting the power of the brand new Revenue Cloud to show how, with a single source of truth, you can take control of your revenue growth across every channel. And after that, we'll be treated to a very special conversation and musical performance by Eddie Vedder. Now, before we begin, make sure you go to dreamforce.com to stay up to date with all the free, publicly available Dreamforce to You 2020 content. And while you're at it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to get the latest stories from the Salesforce blog every week at salesforce.com/signup. We talk to leading trailblazers, thought leaders, and customers to learn how they're putting the customer at the center of everything they do. And as we do every week on Leading Through Change, we want to help those who need it the most. We are committed to doing everything we can to step up the urgent challenge of slowing climate change and creating a sustainable low carbon future for all. We're proud to support American Forest, a nonprofit conservation organization building a reforestation movement in America, from cities to large rural landscapes. American Forest uses the latest climate science to pioneer new tactics to grow healthy, resilient forests. We'd love for you to join us. Donate online at salesforce.com/trees. Again, that's salesforce.com/trees. Now, it is my pleasure to kick it over to a conversation that Brett Taylor hosted the other day with Maria Martinez. I hope you enjoy it.
Thanks, Leah, and thank you all for joining us today. I know how busy it is for everyone out there, juggling more than we ever have at home and work. So I just want to say I appreciate everyone taking the time to be with us today. You know, one of the silver linings of 2020 has been the digital transformation and reinvention at every single one of our customers. I've just been stunned at what people have been able to do in the face of adversity. And one company that really stands out in this regard is Cisco. They've used this year to completely reimagine their business model. And I think most importantly, and I think really topical for this series, is they've used it to rethink their entire customer experience too. And the woman who's been driving that process at Cisco is Maria Martinez, who's their Chief Customer Experience Officer. Maria is a member of the executive leadership team and oversees Cisco's services and customer success organizations. She's also responsible for Cisco's overall sales and go-to-market transformation. And I think one of the most interesting and compelling and amazing executives in the technology industry. I'm so grateful to have her here with me today. Maria, welcome to Leading Through Change.
Thank you, Brett. It's a real pleasure to be here with you and get a chance to chat with you again. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate it. I wish we were in person, but I'll take this staring at a screen as a close second. You know, Maria, one of the things that I'm not sure if everyone in the audience knows is you were actually at Salesforce prior to joining Cisco. And I promise this is not a hard question, but what about Cisco inspired you to join their team? What stood out to you about Cisco?
That's a great question. And, in a way, where a lot of similarities from when I joined Salesforce, as a matter of fact. Really, I got inspired by the mission to transform a $50 billion company into things that I had learned to do certainly at Salesforce, but now they were new elements about that, right? Like how those hardware come together with software, how does the channel, come to play in here. So I was certainly inspired, by the mission, by the people, by the culture. Again, I think we're very similar companies, as a matter of fact. But if you allow me, I'm going to share a story that a lot of people may not know, is that when I first met Chuck Robbins, the only real reason why I met him was because he was one of Salesforce's largest customers, Cisco, while I was there. So I just wanted to meet the CEO of one of
I didn't know that. That's a great story.
So that's how it all started. And the more that we started talking, Chuck and I, the more he realized the kinds of transformations that we were driving, for all kinds of customers. And he said, why don't you join us and make it happen here?
Well, that's great. What a great story. And it is really nice when the depth of the relationship that both of us have with our customers is amazing, and couldn't be a greater testament to that. So you have this huge job, Chief Customer Experience Officer. What's your core focus? What are you focused on right now?
Well, I mean, it really is. It's really customers. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just focusing on the customers. But this is a very, very fundamental transformation for the future, of Cisco. And what we mean by customer experience really is, the perception that our customers have of our brand. And that perception gets developed at every single touch point. So when we talk about this transformation, it's not about the functions that are reporting to me, but it's more about how the whole company comes together. The whole power of Cisco comes together to do great things for our customers. And we want to deliver an experience that is a trust. It's about trust. It's about simplicity. It's about innovation. And starts with the product, right? And follows at every touch point through marketing and sales and certainly customer success and so on. So we look at it as a very comprehensive, transformation of the customer journey.
Well, and it's 2020, so I have to talk a little bit about digital, because all of those in-person customer interactions are now over WebEx and moments like these, right, where we'd probably be sitting around a table. Now we're talking through a screen. And I understand that one of your big initiatives is really about digital transforming and digital transformation of the customer experience. That's a big undertaking. Like, what's your strategy as it relates to that, and how is it going?
So digital it's clearly at the center, of everything that we're trying to do. And it is more and more, after the pandemic, it's accelerating for everyone, because now we have less opportunities, to be face-to-face with customers, right? Less opportunities. We have to leverage, all the digital mediums, that we have. When COVID happened, we really had to completely change the company upside down, and the work that everyone was doing, transition to focus on work from home, remote connectivity, WebEx, and all those kinds of things. So it put to test from day one the importance of digital, right? So when we think about the transformation as a whole, there's a big digital component, but there's also a big human component. So we use the term collaborative intelligence, which is like human and machine, coming together, to just drive this new experience. But the transformation has had three components to it. One is really clearly a new customer model, which is really, we call it the life cycle. It's really the journey, that customers take to do that. Then we have certainly a financial model, which is really about recurring revenue, right? And the bucket of recurring revenue and stopping the leakage in the recurring revenue. And then the third one is the technology transformation. And it is a fundamental transformation of us inside. So it's not only about the experience itself, but to deliver that experience, we have to transform, a lot of how we're doing things. What is our operating model, for which a lot of that, of course, we're actually doing with you.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful point, because I think when people think about digital transformation. They often focus on the technology, but you're so right. I mean, huge part of it is just changing the way we work, right? It's the cultural change, it's the change management associated with it. It was interesting. I mean, one of the things we're sort of talking about this pandemic's interesting because it's impacted our companies internally, how we work with each other as colleagues, and it's impacted the way we work with our customers as well. And, one of the things that I've been reading a lot about is just, as you described it, kind of an acceleration of these digital trends, whether it's in consumer behavior, like the adoption of e-commerce, or even an expectation with our customer base is you wonder at the other side of this, are you going to be on the airplane as much? Or are things like WebEx going to be more of a cultural norm than they once were? How do you think customer expectations are changing this year? And how is your team adapting to it? And maybe a side question, what do you think will endure on the other side of this? What are some of the expectations that have permanently shifted?
Well, I mean, clearly, expectations, like I say, like for us, radically shifted, right? So we saw, just to give you an idea, just the first week things hit hard, right? Within 3-week period, we were, having to deliver 10 times the volume on WebEx within 3 weeks that we ever did. So not 10%, 20%. It was, 10 times the volume, right? So we were like,
wish my engineering teams a thank you for that, by the way. The entire economy is running on it at this point.
Right, but it was like, we were like having, first of all, we have thousands of volunteers in the company to answer the phones, to, work with customers that were engineers, that were developing code. We had to move servers from everywhere we found them in the company, on their desks everywhere, to just build infrastructure for WebEx, right? So it was the crisis. It lasted, certainly a few months. And then we kind of now are in more of what I call more of a steady state kind of, but in that new normal, right? Where our engagements with customers moved from, business resilience, okay, like how do you work from home? That ships the whole volume of your network, right? How the applications, right, like Salesforce run, in the network, and how we have to optimize it. But when everybody's accessing it from home, it's not the same, right? When you're on campus, right? So we shifted the whole thing. And of course, customers, we were building temporary hospitals, still building testing sites that need networking, right? Visitation, units at nursing homes where we had to build, and put one of our video endpoints there so that, the elderly can sit and visit with their family, because no longer they can see that. So our work really, clearly shifted to a completely the same technology, but a lot of different, solutions and use cases.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, as impersonal as speaking on a screen all day it's also kind of a window into your colleagues and customers' lives too. We're both speaking from our living room right now, our office, and it's really interesting. It's been both impersonal and more personal at the same time. I want to switch gears for just a second, though, Maria. It's interesting in a business where you're customer facing. Selling has completely changed this year, right? It's gone from maybe a dinner or, flying out to see a customer, meeting in a conference room, to, speaking over technologies like WebEx. I also think, when I look at our own sales cadence here at Salesforce, it's really shifted. It was one of the more awkward transitions I think we had to make as a company. Tell me about your sales transformation this year, and what has it been like for Cisco?
Yeah, well, I would say that we've always been a pretty virtual company, primarily because WebEx, right? We'd always challenge ourselves to operate relatively virtually. But the touch point with customers, of course, are pretty much non-existent now, to very minimal. We still have about 3% of the go-to-market teams still on customer sides, right? Because a lot of the work that we do is essential work. So we do have permission to go into customer sites for different things, and so we keep a good amount of the personal there. But a lot of it is, it's like the same thing that you said at the personal level, right? Like you say, you get closer, right? Like I'm getting to meet all the kids, and the family, and grandma in the background drinking tea.
It's actually a miracle my kids haven't jumped in behind us in this conversation.
Well, the same thing is happening with our customers. We're getting to, I think most of us that are the ones that spend the time on the road a lot, right? first of all, we have more time because, it's amazing how you realize how inefficient travel is, right? But then at the same time, I'm actually more connected with customers now than ever because I do have more time to just do the more regular, touch points that before my calendar was booked or theirs was booked. So I think we're finding that in general, overall, we're more productive, actually. We're more productive. We do have a percentage of the team that is less productive, sometimes for family reasons, kids going to school and all that. But other people just finding a lot of efficiency. So net, we're even about the same or better, I would say, that we were before. Now, you asked me before about my crystal ball. My concern is how long will this last? At some point in time, it just creates a big, load. We're concerned about mental health, for our employees that could be, don't have the same interactions, et cetera, that they need to. So we're more concerned about the medium to long term than about right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's you wonder how much we're sort of using up the social relationships that we developed, before this. But very hopeful that this will start with really accelerate the reopening process. But I think the patience in all of us is wearing thin, without question. Let's zero in on the buying phase of the selling process. One of the things as a maker of sales automation software here at Salesforce, I talk to a lot of selling teams. And honestly, I think the buying phase and the buying process is often overlooked, even though it's so fundamental to selling. Can you tell me a little bit about how your team's removing friction from the buying process?
Well, so we focus a lot on that because a part of it is, in particular for some of the products. So it's clearly a strong partnership between the product teams and the go-to-market organization, right? To think about how can we optimize, the buying process. And I will speak, certainly for some of our services products right now, where we have really thought about the time that it takes from the moment you start talking to a customer in a much more consultative approach, right? And then you get to the actual, construction of the solution, and then the quoting process and all that. We have really focused on optimizing that, and in some cases have already been able to deliver, things that used to take us, say, I would say 6 to 8 weeks, to put in place. We're now cutting it down to a day, or less. So we've actually been able to and that's kind of a tedious part of the process. So, cutting that, it becomes super important. And then, of course, you can spend more time on the relationship side, which is really what matters.
Yeah, I love that. I love one of the best phrases I've heard used a lot this year is "don't let a good crisis go to waste," and things like that, which is removing friction from your customer experience. Like, what better year to do it, right? Because I think we're all open-minded to change right now, and probably a way we weren't before. So that's great. Cutting it down to a day is amazing. So let me shift gears again. So we've talked a lot about technology transformation. A lot of our customer base is really focused on also transforming their business models, whether it's retailers going from brick and mortar to curbside pickup, or healthcare going from doctors' offices to telemedicine. You've seen a lot of companies move to subscription business models this year as well, which is obviously in a digital world, it's very conducive. And I know at Cisco, you've been investing a lot in a software subscription model. What role has your team played in that transformation? It seems really interesting.
Well, so when we talk about the customer experience transformation, is mainly focused on subscription, right? Because when you think about it, our old model, which was mainly hardware, right? It was you build great boxes, you ship them, and then you really just go away, right? And when you move into the software world, and to give you an idea, a lot of people don't see Cisco as a software company, but right now, 51% of our revenue is software and services. Okay.
Wow, I'm embarrassed to say I did not know that. That's amazing.
A lot of people don't know that. Well, and partly, what happens is that what we've taken is, even for the switches and the routers, we've taken the software, which is the big part of the value, and and it is of course very agile, and it changes a lot. and we've actually been able to move that to subscription revenue. So when we think about this transformation and we think about customer success and adoption and all that, we have three categories, right? Which is pure SaaS. As you know, we've made some big acquisitions, and right now our SaaS revenue is larger than most SaaS companies, actually. But then we also have what we call the hybrid space, and then of course the traditional hardware. And the hybrid is when we are really selling hardware and software together, and then managing the subscription, part of that, as the business model that it's of course recurring, and it requires a closer model to SaaS than really to the hardware, the traditional hardware model.
Well, you mentioned something in that I think is really interesting, and I think a lot of our viewers would be interested in hearing more about. Obviously selling software as a service in particular is a pretty different business model than selling hardware. And I think you made a very complex task sound pretty easy there. Those are two different business models. How do you manage those two at the same time, especially at your scale? I imagine it's pretty disruptive to go through that kind of transformation. Can you give us, I think a lot of businesses are kind of going through similar transformations, perhaps at a slightly smaller scale, and would learn a lot from your experiences.
So it's interesting because I would say that we are in the middle of that transformation right now, right? But one of the things that I always start with is like, where are they different really? Because the truth of the matter is they actually have more commonality than people think. So what we're doing is really taking just all the great learnings that we learn in the SaaS world, and we're adapting them, right? But our goal is that mainly because we're focused on the customer, we want the customers to see just one way to work with us, right? They want work to contract, want work to, and yes, they'll get hardware shipped or hardware as a service also, which is we're starting that business model is emerging as well. But at the end of the day, it's a subscription, right? It's a subscription, and we should treat it that way. Although financially and accounting rules and there's a lot of complexities, we want to, from a customer perspective, make it look the same way, right? You're subscribing to something. We have to deliver the service. We want to assist you with your adoption, etc. And at the end of the day, we're going to do a renewal. So we want to kind of have all those customer-facing functions operating one consistent way with the customer, while at the end, in the back end, we're just handling all the complexity.
I love that. I mean, how clarifying is that? Where, to get through the complexity, just focus on the customer experience, and then it kind of forces all the other functions to kind of align. And I think probably also provides a North Star for all the other teams who have to work through that complexity. So, well, Maria, I think that's a perfect way to end this conversation, which is start with the customer and work backwards. It's been a real pleasure to have you join us today. I really appreciate you taking the time, and also appreciate all the insight. I think Cisco is going through an incredible transformation in the midst of a pandemic, and it was really inspiring to hear how you're leading through change at Cisco and for the industry broadly.
Yeah, thank you, Brett. Thank you for having me, and we really appreciate the partnership. So thank you.
Thank you so much. What a great conversation with Maria and Brett. And I really loved that, the concept that Maria talked about, that this COVID might have us physically separated, but it's actually bringing them closer together with their customers. What a thought. Now I'm excited to hand it off to my colleague, Kaylee, for more on the power of the Revenue Cloud. Over to you, Kaylee.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kaylee Dent, and I am the technical product marketer here at Salesforce, focusing on Revenue Cloud. And I am so excited to share this demo with you today. Now, as we all know, revenue and revenue growth is more crucial today than it ever has been. But what's equally critical is the control and governance around revenue to help eliminate unnecessary leakage. So for today's demo, I'm going to walk you through how a fictional company, SmartBites, was able to take control of their revenue growth across every channel using Salesforce Revenue Cloud. Let's take a look. The CRO at SmartBites is responsible for managing and optimizing revenue across the company. And this dashboard here gives the CRO everything he or she needs to run their business effectively. Like many companies, SmartBites began with a direct sales team. And because Revenue Cloud touches more than just direct sales, they've been able to create new routes to market fast. So they recently began selling through partners as well. And they can keep track of revenue for each channel from right within this view, specifically in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, this revenue by channel component. Now, before Revenue Cloud, SmartBite customer transactions took place across various systems, making it challenging to have a single source of truth for revenue. Now, all revenue transactions across each channel take place on Salesforce, making it easy for SmartBites to understand the health of their business at any time. This also empowers them to make strategic adjustments to their business to optimize and grow revenue. Now, we can see here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, this revenue by product. It looks like revenue is dropping for their user license subscription. Rather than asking their customers to pay a set amount to use a software each month, SmartBites has decided to alter their selling model and offer this as consumption. So their customers only have to pay for the total logins they use in a given month. And with Revenue Cloud, SmartBites can declarely administer new products like these, really of any pricing or selling model fast. So they can quickly create the new consumption-based monthly logins product along with its tiers and rates as we see here. And this is all done using clicks, not code. And the super cool part about it is they only have to define new products like this once in Salesforce. Then they can synchronize them with their external product and price masters in ERP using MuleSoft. And because all products originate from the same price book on a unified platform, what used to take months now takes a matter of clicks. Not only are SmartBites direct and partner sales teams able to quote these products right away, but they're also able to spin up another channel. And they've made some of their products available for customers to self-serve. Let's take a look at what this could look like for a customer. So as you see here, our view has shifted, and we're now viewing this through the lens of a SmartBites customer. With Revenue Cloud, SmartBites customers now have this digital self-service buying experience they expect, complete with a branded B2B storefront that allows them to make certain purchases on their own time. This customer specifically has already added several products to their cart, including the new monthly logins product, which you can see here at the bottom of the screen. Now, this customer experiences seasonal fluctuations, so they are thrilled that this new software is able to be purchased on a consumption basis, meaning they only have to pay for the total logins that they use. They can even view the rates they will be charged for each tier from right within their cart. Now, this looks good, but this customer would like to reach out to their partner rep for a discount. And they can do so from right within their cart by clicking the Submit Quote Request button in the bottom right-hand portion of the screen. Now, let's take a look at what the partner experience is like. So we see here that our view now has shifted, and we're now viewing this through the lens of a partner sales rep. Thanks to Revenue Cloud, though, both the customer and partner experiences are built on Salesforce. This means the partner rep is able to pick up from right where the customer left off, but they're in their own experience. And of course, all of the CPQ, guardrails, and controls are still in place, which ensures that partner reps are always accurate. From here, they can take care of more complex solutions, offer strategic discounts, or adjust payment terms. In this case, the partner is able to offer a 5% discount to our customer. And we can see here that it's also been pre-approved. As time goes on, it's easy for the partner rep to make sense of all the transactions that took place with a brand new customer asset lifecycle management feature. Every customer purchase is automatically converted and stored on the customer account. Now, SmartBites has a single view of everything their customers have purchased and how those assets have changed over time. From here, they can also manage the entire lifecycle for their subscription or time-based products from the initial sale through every upsell and renewal. Why don't we take a look at that monthly logins product that we've been following since the beginning of the demo? The partner rep notices that their customer is at risk of incurring an overage fee, as you can see here in the middle of the screen. So they give him a call to upsell him to the next usage tier. Now, historically, contract changes like this were managed outside of Salesforce, making them error-prone and time-consuming. Now this function lives in CRM, which makes it easy for the partner rep to add a new usage tier. And because the customer now has this higher tier of usage, he avoids that dreaded overage fee that we all hate. And at the end of the month, he receives a single invoice from right within his B2B experience. Now, this invoice is inclusive of everything that he's purchased, including the number of logins that his company has made to use the software at the agreed upon rates for the month, as you can see in the first line item. Now, not only is he able to view his invoice, he's also able to make his first payment today. And furthermore, he can enroll in AutoPay to ensure that all future invoices are paid on time without ever leaving his B2B commerce experience. And that is great news for finance. With Revenue Cloud, you can rest assured that it is here to support you as your business grows, whether that's through new products, new revenue streams, or new routes to market. And because all customer transactions are now taking place in the world's #1 CRM, your business can work more effectively to optimize and grow revenue, all while providing an enhanced customer experience. Back to you, Leah.
Thanks, Kaylee. That was great. Now, you all know the drill. If you want to see, I shouldn't even say if, you want to see today's musical performance and interview with Eddie Vedder, you need to come on over to Salesforce Live right now. So for all of you on Twitter, head on over to Salesforce Live. That's salesforce.com/live. Don't worry, we'll wait for you.